Hi guys, it's Lena. I'm sorry it took me so long to make this video. I've been sick and everything, so with a cold and it's life and everything. So today I'm going to show you how to make this mold housing with the tab. Not exactly this one, but a mold housing with a tab. A lot of people ask for it. Don't mind the hole in the back of my freshie. This was the very first housing I made. So we were trying something with the hole, which did not work. But this will make a tab on your mold, and I haven't trimmed this one out yet because I just made it, but it's just a tab to pull it out. I will say that the tabs do not help me pull them out. I don't even put tabs on mine anymore because it didn't help me. What I do is put a basketball needle on an air compressor and put the basketball needle in here, when the mold's still in here of course, and shoot air and it pops the mold up, and that's much easier. But I know some of you don't have a air compressor, so you have to have the tab and yank on it with whatever muscles you have. It didn't work for me. Maybe I'm weak, I don't know. Well, no, my husband tried it too and it didn't work for him either. But yeah, so you guys asked for it. I will say I'm not a video maker, so if my dogs start barking or somebody knocks on my door, my gate opens, I'll pause and then come back, and I'm very sorry. I'm doing this one-handed, and yeah, I'm just not a video maker. If you saw my first video and you commented, thank you so much. I'm so glad it helped some people. I see it shared in the groups, and it's awesome. Nobody would want to show me when I was making because they said it was trade secrets, and everybody learns from somebody. You know, unless you're completely self-taught, everybody learns from somebody. So I made this video, the first video, in hopes that it would help somebody, and it was great to see that it did. So anyways, enough about that. To start, I always make a folder on my desktop. You can save it wherever. It's just my desktop is where I find everything easily. I'm doing Bigfoot, so I named it Bigfoot because you want to put everything in files. So I use two programs for doing this. I use Silhouette Studio Business Edition. It is $49, but it's the cheapest one I have found. There's other programs out there, but they're much more expensive. I think the cheapest one was like a couple $100, so I went with this one because I had it anyway. So you don't have to have a Silhouette machine to use it. I don't use Silhouette. You can just download it off their website, and it is really simple, super simple, you'll see, to use. So it's great. And then I use Tinkercad, which is a free online website. If you've made files before, you're probably familiar with Tinkercad. If you're not, well then you'll love it because it's super easy. So to start, you want to find the file that you want to change into a freshie mold. I'm doing Bigfoot, like I said. I'll blow this up so I can see it a little better. So what's really important is that you size this in this program or whatever program you're building in to how big you want your mold. Somebody didn't tell me that in the beginning, and I was trying to learn and trying to self-teach myself, and I made my mold like 12 inches. And then when I got into the slicer program, I had to size everything down. But then it sized down my layers and my mold wall, and so nothing was right. So it's just easy to make it the size you need in this program. So this is at 3.8. That's a good size for me. I don't like them huge. So that's great. So you want to select it all just by dragging your mouse over it and holding it, and then right click, hit weld, and then right click and hit make compound path. And this just makes it where my toes and everything don't separate. And then you're done with this layer. So you go up to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive, find your folder. Like I said, mine was Bigfoot. And then I usually call this layer Details or Deeds, or you can name it whatever you want. First layer, whatever. But you want to make sure that you save it as an SVG. If you can't find any of your files later and you're wondering where they went, that's probably what happened, is you didn't save them as an SVG. So once that's done, you're done with this layer, but you need to put an outline around this to hold it all together for your mold. So you go over here, and what's great about this program is it pretty much shows you what the buttons do. See, this puts it, see the outline around the star? Oh, cool, that makes an outline. So you hit that, and then it's gonna, up here, it's gonna ask you if you want an internal offset or an offset. You want the line around the outside. So if you hit that, you'll see that it does this big outline. I don't like that big of an outline around mine. If you do, that's great. You could put like glitter or paint it around and then paint that. I like a little line around so the focus is on the details. And then I could put a little bit of glitter or paint or whatever in between. So once you get it sized to the way you want it, then you just drag off your first layer and you can delete it. But now you need to get rid of these. So if you click on this again, so it's selected, and you go back over here, you only use 2 buttons for this whole thing as far as these side things. You hit this button, which is the modify, and you're gonna hit release. And what that does, see how it puts squares around each thing? If you click off of it and then click back on each thing, then you can delete it. You could probably hit shift and select multiple, but I'm working one-handed because like I said, I don't have a phone holder. Maybe someday I will, but not now. So I just delete them, and then once that's done, I go up here and I make these a color. You can just click over here, choose a color, change your foot, and then I change this. So I don't know if you need to do that, but I change both these to the same color. I don't really think you need to, but I do, just to be on the safe side. And I probably should test it someday, but I haven't. So this layer is now done. So you're gonna go up, hit save as again, save to hard drive, make sure you're still in your folder. Most computers will keep you in the same folder. Make sure you got SVG. And then I do outline because it's the outline, oops, of my details. Okay. So now you're gonna go back over, now you need your mold wall. So you're gonna go back over and you're gonna hit offset again because you need another layer around this foot. And you hit offset. So this is gonna be your mold wall. Most people do 1/4 inch. I don't. I do a little smaller. You can do a 1/4 inch. That's what 90% of the people do. I do 0.22, and that might have changed from my last video even, because I'm still, figuring out what works best for me, and I like that number. So that's what I've been doing it as. So once you get that outline out, you can drag out this first layer, delete it, and then you're going to want to change this to a color like you did the last one. And it doesn't matter, what color you choose. You can get creative if you want. So once you do that, this is where you add your tab. So if you go over here, oh, I'm wrong. You use 3 buttons on here. So you're going to choose a shape. I choose just a square because it's easy. You can get fancy. You could do half circles. You could do whatever you want. Arrows, I don't know, whatever. And then what I do is I create my square and you just hold down and drag. So however big you want it. Just for annoying purposes, when you're dragging, so you just hold down and drag. Once you're done and you let up off that button, go over here and hit this arrow, because if you don't, the first thing you do when you try to move it, it's going to create another box. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just annoying that it keeps making boxes till you hit that arrow. So then you make that box the same color as you did your foot. And then drag it over. And you want to make sure, let me get closer, that this box overlaps this foot. So it's on top of it. See how there's no lines? You can see that it's one solid thing. So then you're gonna drag and select both of them. Hit weld. And then you're done with that layer. So you're gonna hit save as, save to hard drive. I call this the mold wall because it's the mold housing. And you hit OK. Okay, and once that's done, what you want to do is hit undo. I know that sounds weird, but you'll see why. See how it separated them again? Now what I want to do is, it's hard to explain, but when you put the tab in, see this, it's got like a balcony. It's not as tall as the wall. It's as tall as your outline layer. So, and see how it's like curved to your thing, so that square doesn't go into your mold. So that's what we're doing here. So when you now select both of them, you're going to go back over here to this divide button, and you're going to hit divide. And what that does is it separated where this line is right here, so that you can take it off so it's no longer in the housing. And you'll see why that's important. So as soon as you do that, don't touch anything, and then go up and hit merge, find your outline, open it back up. You'll need to recenter it, and it pretty much does it for you. Like once you get it close, it's like clicks. So then once you're done with that, once you get this where you want it, then you pull out this foot, delete it, and then you know it's divided right here because you saw those lines. You're going to click it. See how it didn't select the whole box? It just selected over here. You're going to click on that and hit delete. And then now this will be, you can select both of them, right click, hit weld. And you'll see why that's important in the next step. So then you're going to hit File, Save As, and you're going to save that as the same file, the outline file again. It's going to ask you to replace it. Yes, you want to replace it. And now you're ready to go into Tinkercad, and you'll see why that was important to slice that off so it wasn't into this channel right here. Okay. Oops. Don't want to incur yet. Getting ahead of myself. So you open up Tinkercad. It's just tinkercad.com. You choose to create a file, and then import. Choose a file. I do the bottom first. You don't have to go in this order, but to me this is the simplest order to go into. So it takes a while, especially my internet's not great. So here's your bottom. This is important. So I click on it, and over here I choose 99 because this is your back wall of your mold housing. So it doesn't need to be super thick. It's holding silicone. It's not holding, a 50-pound weight. So it can be pretty thin. You probably could go even thinner than that. I just don't want my silicone to leak or anything. So I make it at 0.99. And then you want to take this quality and go up to 14. I did have some people say when they made their housings that when they flipped them over, they could see like the lines where the layers were joined. And this takes care of that. So if you pull that up to 14, you won't have that problem. Okay, so once that layer is done, you click on it and then go over here and click duplicate. And it's going to put one right on top of it. And then go over here, and this is going to be your mold housing wall. So you're going to choose outer line. And it's going to take everything that you just created and it's going to put a line around it. And so this is going to be how tall you want your mold housing. I do mine 1.3. See how it raised it? And you can change the color if it's easier for you to see, or if you just like working with pretty things. But then you click back on here. I also do this one at 14. So you could probably go higher if you want. 14 works for me. And then this is the line width of how thick you want your mold housing walls. I also do 99. Like I said, this could have changed from my first video. I'm just learning what works best for me. I know I usually do 99. So then that one's done. So there's your mold wall, housing wall. That's done. So then you hit import again. And now you want your outline. Okay, so see, if I move it around, see how this is flush right here to this wall? That's why you wanted to make that slice. So this part doesn't come out into your mold. So then you click on this, and then I do these 1 inch. And like I said, you might decide that it's totally a better height for you, something different. You can see how it made that little shelf. If I turn it. And then you do your details. And sometimes this takes a while, so I'm going to pause and I'll be back when it loads. It made a liar out of me as soon as I hit pause, it was ready. So usually if it's done, sometimes Tinkercad don't load everything, especially if it's a really, really complex file, it'll say that it can't do it. So if you don't see it, right click, and that flips everything, and you can see it's there, it's just hidden on the bottom. So if you click on it and then right click and drag back over, and then hit up here to this magnet and pull up, it'll bring everything to the top. Now this is really thick, so it's kind of hard to see. So on this, I go down, I like about 6'1". Sometimes you can drag it, sometimes you can't. Yeah, it's being finicky. So if you just click in here, 0.061. You can make these, some people like them deeper, some people like the details. It depends on how how detailed they are. Like this is pretty simple, but if you were doing something like this, you wouldn't want your details like a 1/2 inch tall. That would make a good mold. So once you get this centered, and like I said, it pretty much does it for you as far as centering it. But you can move your mouse over and see if you think it needs moved anymore. And then once you're done, you select it all and go up here and hit this, hit this button to merge them all. And there's your mold housing. And you can, like I said, you can change the color if you want to green. And in case you never did this, you can go up to, or you can go to settings down here, and you can choose not to show the grid when you're done, and it'll turn it off. And then you can go up here and hit send to, and you can download a picture of your file. Like if you wanted to load it on Thingiverse or sell it online or whatever, it'll create a nice picture for you without grid lines, which is kind of cool. And then to use it, you go to export and you want to save your STL. What I forgot to mention is Tinkercad names everything really weird names. I don't know why, but you can click on this and change the name. If you don't, it's no big deal. You'll just, when you go to look for your file, you're going to be like, what is this? But so I'm just naming him Bigfoot, and then I will go over here and hit export again. Hit STL, and it is saving. So I can click out of that, out of this. Don't need to save it. And then just in case you haven't, in my slicer, I use Cura. I have a Acrylity machine. You just find your file, open it, and there's your housing. So that is how you add a tab. You can see it like when you zoom in, that shelf. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to PM me. I know this is YouTube, which I don't use much, but I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, so you can find me on there, and I will try to put my links in there. I just didn't know very much about YouTube, so I was winging it. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hope this helps.